So, I didn't think it was going to be this hard for me to do this video. I knew walking into the finale I was going to cry, but I was not prepared for the emotional toll it was going to take on me overall. Like I mentioned in my haul video, I was going to do the review last night right afterwards. I uploaded the season 15 review last night. It got done. It got done uploading close to the time. It still got done. But I sat there and I had the phone in my hand. I just sat there on the couch and I watched it in here on the TV, but I went out to the couch to sit down. But that's where my phone was. I turned it off for the entire episode. But I just sat there and I couldn't bring myself to get back up. And like I mentioned, I was sulking the whole night. I went to bed early. I wanted to stay up late. But tonight will be that night. Be one of those nights. It's affected me. Alright, I've gone 14 years with this show. When you've been there through almost the entire ride, For those of you who don't know, I started watching during season 2. Specifically the reruns of season 2. But it's close enough. Maybe it's 13 years, who knows. Bought the season 1 DVD. Was watching the episodes of season 2 as they were uploaded to the CW.com. CW.TV, whatever it was called. Yeah. So now let's talk about this final episode, because I need to talk about it. I need to get it off my chest. I've been holding it in. So, after the previous episode, the season finale as they call it, Sam and Dean are free. They're no longer controlled by Chuck. They can do what they want. Cass is gone. Jack is gone, and there's just them. So this episode begins with a montage, not with Carry On in My Wayward Son, but just no music in general, playing what happened last episode. And then we get a montage with this music that shows that Sam and Dean are living basically a normal type life. They're still in cases, but Dean kept the dog from the previous episode, which I'm assuming was just a stray, or else he'd have to return it to its owner. But yeah, the dog is back and Dean kept it. And they make breakfast, hot bread, and toast. Hot bread. And and they're looking for jobs, and Dean finds something. Pie Fest! Yes, I'm gonna get some damn pie. Because Dean loves his pie. Sam, expresses that he misses Jack, he misses Cass, and I didn't catch this the first time. Having rewatched this again, knowing what happens at the end, this makes a lot of sense, Dean says they're gone, but you gotta keep going. You gotta live your life. And that makes a lot of sense. So, in the trailers, we got these masked skull type people. It turns out they're vampires. And you may be thinking, well, why do vampires need masks? Well, long story short, COVID. They probably put these actors in masks so that they could cover their faces, And that works. They even used the masks to tie back to their dad's journal. They're these vampires that I'm going to talk about something too. Vampires, they bleed one adult, they cut out the tongues of the ones they don't bleed, and they steal their children. That's the way it is. And and so they track a couple of them down. They kill one. They take another one. Dean's convinced they were mimes, but is upset when they're not mimes. But it's Dean, so. Anyway, so they interrogate this guy. Dean's like, he could be, I can take this big machete. It can be a swift kill. Or Sam can take that little knife and just gnaw at your neck and be a slow and painful death. And if you lie to us, and if those kids are dead, he's gonna use a spoon. I love that line. I don't know why, but I love that line. And so he sends them to the lair, and of course it's sort of a trap. There are 4 of them there, and they fight, and 2 of them get taken care of, but Sam gets knocked down, the machete knocked away from him, and Dean is taken down by 2 of them. And then it's revealed that there is a female vampire there, and it's Jenny from the season 1 episode Dead Man's Blood. And I didn't recognize what episode it was from until I rewatched it, so it's a good thing I did. Yeah, she was one of the victims that was turned into a vamp. And I caught it this time. Dean asks, so you're the one in charge. Dean, your dad was tracking these guys long before you guys even met Jenny. How can she be the one in charge? Then again, she could have taken over. But I'm just saying, no, she just called dibs. So she's been a vampire for 15 years almost, maybe 14 years. She still looks great. She's a beautiful woman. But she doesn't do much. She starts to do the, and then she gets her head cut off. And they fight the other 2, and during this fight, you see this spike. It's a screw, a spike, whatever, sticking out. It's this big screw spike. And you know something's going to happen with that. And, yeah, so Sam takes care of one of them, but Dean's fighting the other one, and the vampire pushes Dean into the spike. I yell out, no! Even though I knew something was coming. And Sam takes head up the other one, and he's like, okay, let's go take care of the kids. He's like, I don't think I'm going anywhere, Sammy. And Dean, it's through his chest. He can't move him because he says he thinks it's holding him together. So they have this great scene, greatly acted by the 2. Very good scene. Probably one in the top 10 best scenes that they've acted in. Where they talk about, Dean, tells him, you remember when I came to get you? When I told you Dad's on a hunting trip, he has to come back in a few days. It's like, yeah, the woman in white, yeah. Well, I stood outside your dorm for hours, wondering how I was going to approach, whether you were going to tell me to get lost or get dead. He wasn't sure. And he said he was always been proud of Sammy. He was always the strong one. And he says, Sam, I need you to tell me it's okay. I need you to tell me it's okay. You got it. I need you to tell me it's okay. So he puts his hand on Dean's hand and he says, Dean, it's okay. You can go now. Obviously, I'm a little bit older. I'll be crying right now. But yeah, and Dean dies. Of course, burns his body, as you do. And then Sam goes on his own. He and the dog, they go to Dean's room. And Dean's other cell. Oh, another thing I want to note is when Sam and Dean are going to the crime scene, they introduce themselves as agents Singer and Kripke. Robert Singer, Eric Kripke. Also, the place they were sitting by says Dabbs on it, like Andrew Dabbs, the showrunner. So it's fun little, Easter eggs and stuff. So he gets a call on Dean's other cell for Agent Bon Jovi, as is Dean's way. And they say that Jody Hanscom, or Donna Hanscom, told him that you were the one to call. Which, why wasn't Donna at the funeral? I guess it's just him burning him, I don't know. But anyway, so he takes the job because he says there are bodies turning up without hearts. It's werewolves. And right away I'm thinking, he's going to go out. He's going to let himself get killed by the werewolves so he can be with Dean. But surprisingly, they throw a curveball at us. First of all, we go to heaven. I'm going to come back for the next commercial. Dean is there. So is Bobby. And Bobby explains that Jack opened up heaven. It's in its own world now, not just individual heavens like before. And they share a beer, which tastes like the first beer that Dean shared with his dad. Terrible. And Bobby asks him, he says it's only missing, and he's like, he'll be along. Time doesn't work the same here as it does on Earth. And so he's like, so what are you going to do, Dean? And Dean looks over and he sees the Impala. He smiles and he says, I'm going to go for a drive. He gets in, he turns on the ignition, and it starts playing, Carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more. And Dean's like, man, I love this song. And he drives away. And we get a montage showing that Sam somehow married. He has a son named Dean. And we see him growing up and teaching him stuff and growing old. And we get old Sam getting into the car. And the Impala, he takes the thing off, the tarp or whatever you call it. He takes his glasses off, and you can't really see because he's old. He puts his hands on there, and then it cuts to older Sam in a hospital bed, dying, and his son comes up, and his son has the little mark, the little tattoo, and he says, Dad, it's okay. You can go now. Same words he said to Dean. And he passes away. And so it has a slower version of Carry Me On My Way with Some plays. Dean drives the Impala onto a bridge. He gets out. He looks over like this. And then he stops and goes, Hey, Sammy. He turns around and Sam's standing there. Sam goes, Dean. And they hug. And it just, They both go like this on the bridge, and it pans out to show beautiful, gorgeous looking Vancouver. It's just gorgeous. And that's how it ends. I think this episode was well done. I think it should be satisfying. If some people don't like it, that's fine. Not everyone's gonna like this. I thought it was great. I think it was a great ending. The only thing I don't understand is that there's been rumors going around that they're saying, hey, we can come back to this in a few years' time. This has finality to it. I don't think there's any way to come back from this. And if you do that, you're just messing with the good ending. Other than that, I think this was well done. I'm surprised I didn't start crying for this, to be honest. But yeah, I enjoyed this. It's a good watch. It's just a sad watch. So what are your thoughts on the Supernatural series finale? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty. See you in the next one.